Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Retire in a Year Revolution podcast, or anywhere else this audio goes. Who knows, right? Okay, so we've got a special guest on today. Who's gonna. I don't know Josh. Hi, Josh. Nice to meet you. Okay,
Nice to
but
meet you.
Eric knows Josh, right? So I've just met Josh for the first time. So I'll tell you what I know. He has a great podcast running. At the end of this episode, we'll make sure that we'll get those details from you, Josh. Okay, so everybody can tune in and follow you and subscribe and everything, and give him a good rating and everything as you're meant to do. Okay, so I'll hand over to Eric because you guys know each other. So we're just going to freestyle, right?
Right.
You got it. Can you hear me okay, guys?
Yeah, but you've paused, which someone might say looks better, but we can hear you.
Yep.
Well, that's all good. So, guys, we're excited to have Josh on today. You know, for me, I got online. I started doing online marketing back in like 2007 toward 2008. And, my background is sales. And so that was my first stab sort of into, building my own business, entrepreneurship. And well, I had stabs before that in the network marketing space, but those were horrible to say the least. But
I think I got stabbed in the network marketing space. I don't think I think I got stabbed.
Exactly. So when I came on, Josh had already been in the arena for a little while, and I remember Josh being one of those guys that in this world, the online marketing space, network marketing, you sort of you look online and you see people and you're like, wow, okay, this guy has a brand, he has influence, and it's like, man, how did they even pull this thing off, man? This is crazy, and that's sort of where I was. And Josh has always been a guy that's just been super solid. Every time I've ever spoke to him, I'm like, man, this guy's sharp. This guy's a thinker. This guy really takes a look at where I'm sort of a dive-in guy. I know I'm sort of dive in and ask for forgiveness later. I know that Josh, you're a thinker and you look at everything and you look through things thoroughly. And that's one of the things early on knowing you that I took from you. I'm like, I really need to slow down here. I need to take this information in. I need to, I just felt like you were a great decision maker. I really did. I always respected you for that. And then of course, your boy was in wrestling. I wanted my boy to be in wrestling because I wrestled, you wrestled, and my son chose basketball, and your son is doing some amazing things in the sport of wrestling. So I've kind of lived vicariously through him. So you know that. But the big thing, Josh, is just for people that are listening, your kind of path has changed over the years, but you kind of give us how you kind of got where you were and how you kind of transitioned into. I know you got into direct sales and the online space. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me on here, and I want to do as much as I can, adding good content to you guys' podcast for your listeners. I know that there's probably people just starting out or people that have been doing it and that are either having success or trying to break through and have that success. And it looks different for everybody, obviously. So I got started, in network marketing. I was introduced to it. Well, my grandfather was a really good friend with a guy who helped seed and start a very, very successful network marketing company that was based out of Oklahoma here. And so, they'd have meetings when I'd go to my grandfather's home, who had a big farm up in northeastern Oklahoma. He'd introduce me to this guy, and they had these big meetings. I didn't know what the meetings were about, but they were talking about, network marketing, old school network marketing. And they had a lot of success when it sold out. My grandfather never got involved, but his best friend was involved. And when they sold out, he had a large chunk of equity. It paid off really, really well for him and his family. And so I was introduced to it early, and my mom was a hairstylist, and she had clients that were always pitching network marketing, concepts, businesses. And so I was always intrigued by it because I was like, why are you guys not getting involved in this? This makes so much sense to me. Like, you guys, my parents weren't network marketing type people, but it intrigued me real early, thinking, so all you got to do is talk to people, go recruit people, show them, paint the picture of why they can have success. And so in 96 or 97, Todd Cash and some guys from Advocare came up to Collinsville High School where I was at, and they were showing us Advocare, these products that will help you, in athletics. We're always trying to get the edge. And so our whole classroom full of football players, whatever, were buying these products. And so I thought, is this one of those deals to where you can like sign up and then everybody will buy underneath you? And so I signed up in this thing and got all this volume basically from a built-in audience, because none of our coaches wanted to do it even. And you know, when you're looking at Advocare, Todd Cash, and man, some of these guys they were killing it. They were ex-foot, and that's one thing I noticed about network marketing. A lot of ex-teachers and coaches make really good money because I think they know how to explain things and know how to teach it and break it down. I've noticed that. Like you look at Art Williams, you look at Todd Cash, you know, you look at, there's a lot of ex-football players or football coaches and teachers have done very, very well. And so that's when I got involved. You know, when I was wrestling in college, 2 years later, the ephedra ban hit, which took a hit on some things, a lot of companies. And that was some of the main products that we were selling. And so then from that point, I wouldn't start my degree was in marketing. So I got out and I started working for a large advertising agency here in Oklahoma. One of their biggest clients was NRA, Brunswick Bowling Ball. We had a very conservative base, and but it was a large agency. And so I loved advertising, but the more I got into it, the more, I mean, I was talking to these people, they're working 70, 80 hours a week. And it was just a sweatshop basically. And, you know, I thought if I'm going to do that kind of work, those hours, why is there not an online version? And this was when the internet was coming aboard, late 90s, early 2000s. And I thought, why is there not an internet version, an online version of traditional advertising? Why are these ad agencies not offering, you know, online advertising instead? And they just hadn't made the shift over yet. They knew it was coming, but and I was already thinking that way. And so I kind of started a little ad agency. I was generating leads for myself and a couple other network marketers. Then I joined another company, a wellness company, in 2001, right before September 11th. I mean, it was June of 2001. I joined another network marketing company. We had a really good run at that. That's when I met my first real big business mentor. And he was just like, look, and he owned a pro wrestling company. His name was Cowboy Bill Watts. He owned Mid-South Pro Wrestling and he sold it to Ted Turner, and which became WCW basically. And he taught me more about marketing. I mean, he'd made millions. So he taught me more about marketing than I ever could have learned in college. I mean, he taught me some concepts he just taught me so many concepts of what draws emotions, what makes people do certain things, the psychology of marketing. And he always told me in network marketing, you can do it how you want to do it, but the way I'm doing it works. So if you want to add your online stuff in, do that on the side, but you're going to do it the way we're doing it. And so I did. And that's when my online journey kind of really started. It was a mix of traditional and network marketing. And then that's when Frank Kern and Lee Collins become a partner of mine. He's brilliant. You got a lot of other, you know, Russell Brunson was a wrestler, you know, and look what he's done. So those were the days of all these guys you see today that have hit it big. They were just starting, but they really understood how to leverage each other's audiences really, really well and work together. A lot of times we don't see that today as much. And so after my span with that wellness company, I got back, let's see, from that part, that's when I started my agency. And then so I was picking up other clients, generating leads for other people. And that's when my online ad agency started. So I was kind of doing that before everybody else really was. I had no blueprint. I was just doing it like, okay, this is what I'll charge you to do this. I don't even know what I'm supposed to charge, but this is what I'm charging. And you kind of learn your model, your methods of how to charge and what to charge for. You know, the first thing you're doing is you're probably not charging enough, you know? And so I learned that I was spending a lot of time doing things for people that wasn't charging enough. And once you do that long enough, you start thinking to yourself, man, in the back of your mind, you're going, when I first was introduced to network marketing, it's that I do something one time and get paid over and over and over on it. That keeps crossing your mind when you're owning a job when you have an online advertising agency like I did. So I wanted to I wanted to do it again. I wanted to get back in network marketing. I was introduced, it was funny, in 2009, I was introduced to a company, Steve Smith, he owned or was co-founder of Excel. He
Yeah, I've
introduced me
seen
to
that.
a concept, and we made a lot of money real quick. And then the company went down, and I was like, okay, I don't want to do that again. Like, I don't want to do that again. So I took a little bit of a break, but 2013 rolled around. It was January of 2013. And I sent an email out to my list, and I hadn't hit my list in a long time. And I said, look, I am looking to start, I'm looking to come back in the network marketing space, but I'm not, if you're in a business, don't pitch me, because I'm looking for other people who are also looking. They're either not happy in what they're doing, or they're also not in anything like I was. I wasn't in anything at that point. So a girl out of Minnesota messaged me. She's one of the top earners in the industry right now. And she goes, we're looking at making a transition too. We looked at 3 or 4 companies, and this company was owned by a venture capital firm, a private equity firm, and they were making a transition. And this company is real popular today. It was me, her husband, another couple, and another guy. Today, this company is doing at least $500 million in sales right now. But when I got in, we took off 2013. We were trying to shift the model into retail, of, okay, we're going to have a lot of customers. You probably know the company, but we're going to go shifting retail. That ought to get the name of the company, right? And it just wasn't happening at that point. We hadn't really figured the model out, and we had an idea. We had the right concept. We saw Airbnb, we saw Uber, we saw Lyft, we saw some of these men's grooming lines starting to do it really well, and we were trying to do that, and it just wasn't working. And in 2016, I sold my position. I still have a position, but I sold my main position. And so about 2000, I would say 19, they had acquired a company, a collagen company, and all of a sudden it just took off. And so I probably sold out too early. And like I said, I've still got something there if I ever wanted to do it. But I think, and so then fast forward until today, I still have my agency. I've done work with a U.S. congressman a couple terms. We got other clients. There's another product I'm getting ready to add to it as well. But I see where I'm at today. I see the network marketing space. If you got a company that can do it right, I think is the right, perfect timing, especially in America, because, I see the next 2 years. I don't want to get political, but the next 2 years, no matter who wins in November for us, this November, we're going to have a rough 2 years, 22 to 24. I think economically, it's going to be it's either going to be gridlock or it's going to go even worse. That's the good case scenario, I feel like. And usually in bad economies, network marketing companies, affiliate marketing, things like you guys are doing, historically do really, really, really well. Online advertising, who knows, because I haven't been through a real bad economy, but I do see people already pulling back on their advertising, which makes no sense. Oh, so I do think that network marketing and affiliate marketing will do really, really well in the next probably 4 years. I think it's going to do really, really well. So I've had my sights set on a few things, to add to my portfolio, but so I've had a long run as an entrepreneur. My wife owns a hairstyling business. My mom did too. And so I come from a group of people around me that's always been entrepreneurs as well. So that's kind of my story.
Well, there's a couple quick things I want to pull from what you've said, because Paul and I do some coaching. Yep. We a lot of we're tapped into all sorts of things. Me, I'm sort of I know Paul's going to say something. Paul's bringing me back in. When I work with Paul, he brings me back, man, which is great. So we're really trying to, what we've identified with our business is we're focused on, Paul's been trading successfully Forex for 5 years. We've got some big stuff happening there. We want to tap into affiliate marketing more. So we're lining up some partnerships there because, like you said, I think affiliate marketing is going to be big over the next few years. Network marketing, I mean, it's a love-hate for everybody that's done it.
Yep.
Obviously, it's something that we may bring in if the right opportunities come to play. And obviously they're set up, for customer acquisition and to be marketed online, So, because I've seen companies kind of, they've kind of gone both ways, well, it's the same thing, right? In the beginning, it's the Wild West. And then once the company grows and all that, and they get visibility, the marketers have done all the work and getting them the visibility. Then they're like, they put the clamps on everybody and say, well, you can't do what you did before.
Well, and that's why
So
and I don't mean to cut you off there. That's why I believe what you guys are doing with your podcast. I believe you get to control your content, right? And so you guys were here before any network marketing company or any affiliate marketing company you bring to the table. You guys were here first. And so they want to put the clamps down. The way I look at it is, fine, I'll just switch you out with somebody else. Paul and Eric will switch this company out with a new product or a new whatever, because we were here first. And I think network marketing companies have got to start to understand this, like these owners. I understand it from both sides. Like, I understand it from an owner standpoint. I got $1 billion company and I don't want a bunch of rogue marketers coming here and running my brand. I totally understand that. But at the same time, well, if I'm bringing affiliates or I'm bringing population to the table here, what is that worth? Like, I mean, that's why I think it's driving more people towards affiliate marketing, because there's not as many rules and there's not as many whatever. And really, when you want to get down to it, here, you got to start doing the math to it. If I'm doing affiliate marketing and I'm making, I don't know, 20, 30, 40%, okay. And then you say, well, network marketing, you're making multiple levels, whatever. Yeah, I'm not really not making a whole lot when it's getting down to 1% a level, 2% a level. And then I'm having to spend time babysitting people. And then I'm having to spend time. I think affiliate marketing, especially because of your TikTok people, your Instagram people, your big podcasters. And this is what I told this company when I first started in 2013. I said, you need to go after, if you're trying to get customers, then you need to go after big bloggers and podcasters. And they're like, no, we don't, we're going to do it all network marketing. I'm like, then you're missing, you have half of your thing right. But the big part is the marketers and the exposure you're trying to get that are podcasters and bloggers. And what do? 6, 7 years later, we're trying to attract influencers. I mean, no kidding. I told you that 5, 6 years ago. And your influencers, a lot of time, are one and done. But if they bring, I don't know, if they bring a few hundred people to the table that buy your product and they like it, and they keep and say 10% keep ordering it, and you have 50 people that are reordering your product month after month after month because they like it, and they're not even trying to build a business, but they go tell people about it. That was worth it. That, to me, that was worth going after that influencer. And yeah, we sort of are in a Wild West. I don't think network marketing companies know what they want. I think the owners have I think things are changing so fast with government regulations that they can't change with it fast enough. And then they feel like they're losing power by going after influencers, when influencers, I feel like, it can be what can take your company to the next level. But I also believe in that old school building a grassroots network marketing company. But the owners, man, I don't know, they have to learn how to keep these people and let them be independent. That's where my biggest problem in network marketing is. If you're going to say that I'm an independent rep, a 1099 rep, and then you start adding all these rules in, I'm not a 1099 rep anymore. I'm not an independent.
At the point, Josh, I'm finding I want my own business again. I used to have my own business. I got into network marketing. I've done well with it. I've been on stage. I've hit levels and stuff that a lot of people don't. But what you're talking about, I'm always just going to be a rep. Never, with a network marketing company, working with Eric, we've got a business, we've got a brand, we've got stuff happening. What do you think? Do you agree that as long as you're in a network marketing company, you're never going to be an owner of a business?
Are you asking me or Eric?
You're the star of the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought
Eric
too, because Eric's right. I'm sure we agree on that. I think you're always going to be a rep, But back in the day, like in late 90s and early 2000s, you were only a rep. Today, I feel like you got so much more power, because if you've got a podcast, or you're an influencer, or whatever, you have a brand. That's bigger than just being a rep. And so, yeah, you're just a rep. Where I have a little bit of issue is when what Eric just said. And that is, okay, I'm a rep. We're going through this. We're having a good time. We're making money, and the way I have always set up network marketing is I'm good at recruiting, but I'm horrible. You gotta know where your strengths are and weaknesses. I am horrible at babysitting. Like I expect, us three, we expect our baby like us, like to go out and build. But there is a learning curve to it. And it's unfair to say that, well, I'm not going to babysit. I mean, you got to have somebody there to help them. And so I always recruit someone. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring in leaders in, but it's your job to help taproot down in, build with them, get in the trenches with them. And I'm going to show up and I'll be there. I'm going to help. I'm going to be doing trainings and whatever, and I'm still going to do some work, but my job is to bring in the people who know how to build. But once you get to that point, you start having 3 or 4 or 5 big players, and then the company comes to you and says, well, we like what you've done, but we can't market that way anymore.
Exactly.
We have to be careful. We need more customers. We need this and we need that. I'm like, okay, well, I can go get customers too. But when we first started, you didn't have a problem with this. And now you've got me a little bit, because I've already put in a lot of work and I've got a lot of volume coming. And in a sense, you've got me kind of wrangled in here. That's the issue I have. And I don't mind there being rules, but don't be changing the rules every, 5-6 months. And I think that's what people get so hacked off about network marketing is they feel like the goalposts are always being moved on them a little bit. And I think network marketing companies, there was always this debate too. Well, our job is to offer you a product, distribution, and pay you a check. You're a rep. And my deal is, why are you not thinking long-term and teaching these people how to set up their own podcast and how to set up their own Instagram and be successful, and how to do TikTok, and how to teach them how to build a brand and be marketers? Because if you did that as a network marketing company, you're building a lot of brand builders that are building your company. But at the same time, you have to allow them to go out and be independents too. Like, I mean, you can't just have them, like, if they want to go out, if you're in a nutritional company and they wanted to go sell a Forex software because they really like it, and they're doing that on the side and having success, why would you try to shut them down? I mean, why would you try to stop them? Because if you're going to cut the head off of that organization, who's going to step in and take over that leadership that you're going to lose that line at some point. It's not going to be the same. They're just not smart business. I haven't met many network marketing owners that are smart business people, owners. They're usually ex-reps. There's a couple of companies that you have chairmen and CEOs that have ran Fortune 500 companies, and they're doing really good, their companies, but they don't really get involved in the policing of what you can and can't do, this, that, and the other. So I love network marketing as a model and as a concept. I think it's really hard though, because like in my business, I have accounting and I have marketing and I have to fulfill. There's only like 3 or 4 or 5 things in owning an agency. It's not that much. But when you get into network marketing, you got recruiting, you have to take care of your people. You have to, I mean, and then you got to work. Is the owner going to do the right job? Are they going to change the comp plan on me? Is it the right comp plan? Is the product good? Do they introduce another product that doesn't fit in good with the mix? Do they mix so you have so many variables, you have so many reasons and ways network marketing could go wrong and lose momentum.
Well, I think one of the things I always struggled with, Josh, with network marketing and companies is, I think you hit the nail on the head. You're calling me an independent contractor, but there's a conflict here, because let's say, hey, okay, well, I use the internet as a form to get customers or build reps. Okay, so let's say I get really good at some YouTube strategy, right? And I decide, okay, I'm tired of people. All these people are coming to me because they see me all over the place and they're asking me to teach them how to do this. Well, I'm not doing that for free. So yeah. I'll create a little course here, and you can buy the course for $100, and you can go through the course. and that way, and when that happens, all of a sudden you're getting your hand slapped by the company saying, well, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you can't do that. And I'm like, well, what do you want to pay? And I always was just in my mind, I'm like, why can't, if I'm a company owner, I'm going, wait a minute, this guy, people, obviously I've got people all in my company going to this guy all over the place, not in his downline. They obviously want to learn this. So, I either let the guy do that, or I see if I can work a deal out with this guy and say, hey, is this something we can bring in and teach the entire company and let
Yeah.
you benefit from it? But they don't think that way. They're so narrow minded, and it's like, dude, like, I would be out with companies just crushing it and doing all this, and then suddenly I'd get an email from compliance, and I'm like, and it would be something I said in a video, like, and they'll tell you specifically, like, at the 2 minute and 15-second mark, you say this. I'm like, God, my gosh, like, this is worse than having a job, because you got someone staring at my content. That's their job, to watch my content. It's
A friend of
insane.
mine has just had that. They've literally gone through like 6 months worth of his videos, and on the 11th of June at 10:30 a.m. you did this, and at 2 minutes 31 seconds in, you said this is not allowed.
Well, and I'm like, and that bothers me big time, because that to me is not free enterprise. That is not, and okay, fine, you're a privately held company, it's your rules, it's whatever. When did you put those rules in though? Is this recently, or have you had this from the very beginning? Like, I am trying, like, you're right. I'm building a course trying to help your company. And you know what? If you would set up your own YouTube course, I wouldn't have to do this. And you know what I mean? And that's all. And like I said, it's a beautiful concept in theory in network marketing, but it's like, let us be independent reps. And I'll tell you what, I think that some of these companies better watch it. They can get in trouble. If you say, well, look, you're a 1099 rep, but you can't do this, and you can't be with other companies, and you can't do whatever. Okay, well then why are you fine? Now you're not, basically you are overstepping the bounds of basically allowing me to be an independent contractor. Now you're getting into employee law. And so if you're doing that, are you taking out social security tax? If you're treating me like an employee, you better be reporting like I'm an employee. That's what they don't think about either. And I'm not trying to bash network marketing. That's not the purpose of me being here. It's just make it better. Eric Worre, when he talks about that, like, well, it's not the best, but it's a better solution. And I agree with that. But, if you're going to go after big podcasters and big bloggers and maybe that's why they don't go after them. Maybe that's why they don't go after them, is because they're afraid that the tail will wag the dog at some point. If I'm an owner of a network marketing company, I'm trying to work with as many people as I can that can make my business grow, and then I can work with them and say, okay, fine. I don't have a problem if you go buy a podcast course from Eric and Paul. Like, if they know more about it than I do. I'm a CEO of a company. I don't do podcasts. They do. Go learn from them. It'll help your business. At the end of the day, we're just trying to move volume. I guess that's the difference between an entrepreneur and then, say, an owner of a network marketing company. I don't know. To be honest, I've looked at a few network marketing companies. I think there's some of your older established ones that will, again, if you added the right marketing in, you could do really, really well. There are some newer ones that are coming out. What I like things that help people, from a standpoint of like, I liked Advocare when they had they're not even like, I don't even know what they do anymore, but they had nutritional products that helped athletes and people wanting to lose weight. Everybody, I feel like, wants to look better, feel better, perform better, whatever. And I don't see any network marketing companies hitting that niche. Now, I've talked to owners about this, and they're like, well, that's an okay niche, but we have collagen, or we have this product. And I'm going, I'm done. The call's over, or the meeting's over. You're not even listening. You wanted me to tell you what. And so there is a company out there that has a product, if you call it, that is trying to do that, and I'm going, okay, if this owner understands, this owner takes the comp plan serious, does it right, doesn't get in the way, doesn't get in the way of the marketers and tell them they can't do this or that. This company could have a good run. But for whatever reason, and this is the way in social media too, there's so much noise out there that no one's really willing to listen or whatever, and so I don't know. I do think that the space let me just say could be lucrative, but I also think the affiliate space may be more lucrative, and I think both of them could work in conjunction if owners would allow it to. Like if you're, Joe Schroeder, that's who I worked with back, that's Eric, I was working him and Diane. And he always said that, like, why are we not selling coaching, training, and tools to the people out in the field? Like, and I don't have if I'm building a network marketing company and I have a funded proposal up front, technically I was here before that. I was here first. I was already getting those clients. I was already selling coaching, training, and tools, and I just backed them into your business. I can stop, and go to another company if you want me to, but I think the funded proposal was one of those. It's a model that's not new today, but it is, to me, it was one of the most powerful models I ever saw. That even someone that's never built a business in network marketing could use a funded proposal, and they could sell that funded proposal and then take those people and put them into a network marketing company if that person wanted to or not, but they were already making money.
It's you look at the Eric Worre's, you look at the Ray Higdons, you look at, these guys saw, or the difference is with those guys is they built successful businesses inside of network marketing. So I think that's important, but they also both sort of teach the online, offline. And I think they do a great job keeping it simple. A lot of the stuff they teach now, we were doing, years ago. And they laughed. And quite honestly, I remember the Warriors of the world and all that, when we were doing some of the things we were doing early on, we're like, those guys don't listen to those guys. You know what I mean? You're going to run your business into the ground. And now it's all about social media. And the thing that always drives me a little crazy, and I'm not doubting network marketing either. If I found the right product, an opportunity, and the timing was right, and I felt like with my network, because I don't build traditionally, I'm like you, I'll go find leaders. I felt like this is something that I think my network would like, then I'm all over it. But what I don't understand is in today's time is, and I see this happen all the time, is, it's that every 90-day convention thing. And the problem with that is it's like, okay, well, we live in a different time now, man. Yes, the belly to belly, let's get up, let's greet, let's hug and all that. That's great. But man, we live in a world of Zooms. We live in just a different world now than we did. And the problem is these companies, they feel like they've got to it's like they got to up the last convention. So they end up shooting themselves in the foot because they've got a product that's performing, that's growing. And then they think they got to add this second product or this third product or this. And they just totally confuse the entire. That happened with a cell phone company I was in, and the owner just kind of shut the whole thing down. I knew it was over the day we're in cell phones. That's what we're growing, this business. And they bring some sort of like makeup. I'm like, we're a cell phone business and you're talking about makeup. I immediately knew it was over. I told everybody this company's done. And then within 6 months, we got literally the way we all found out it was closed is the owner did a video and sent it to every rep saying, show's over. You're going to get one more pay period and one more check and you're done. That's how they closed it down.
You said something that's really smart. So my mentor who owned the pro wrestling company, he always told me that. So when you look at Vince McMahon or you look at these guys, Dana White, right? They know what they're doing a year out, basically. So if you got WrestleMania, right, in whatever month that is, then that's your main event. And then you build backwards, okay, events leading up to that event. When he first told me that, I was like, what in the hell? What do you mean building? Because in public schools, you're not taught to build backwards. That's not what you're taught. So that was a new concept for me. I had to think differently. He said, you got to build your main event and then you build backwards from that. So Dana White, whatever his main event is of the year, is probably at the end of the year, but he builds backwards and his model works. If network marketing companies would look at a Dana White or they would look at a Vince McMahon and go, wow, if we're going to build an entertainment, if we're in the business of entertainment, because really that's what the network marketing companies are trying to be, entertainment companies now. If you're getting into these kind of events, then they need to either bring someone in who understands that model, or they need to watch real closely and reverse engineer what these guys are doing. And I'm okay with big events like that. But the problem I have is a lot of these people are not making money. And so if you're going to ask them to go to all these events, get on a flight, get a rental car, get a hotel, and usually these hotels are downtown and they're more expensive than any other hotel for that week. You're basically taking their seed, okay, their capital to build the business. You're taking that away from them. And I think what you're saying too is smart. If you're doing online and offline, then take that event and just stream it live and let those people who can't afford it, let them watch it from home. They're going to get excited. Their uplines they're going to be having events after the event with their uplines that are talking about, okay, let's regroup and now let's talk about our strategy on how we do it. But I really feel like instead of these events being about a product or being about recognition all the time, I never needed the recognition. Like when I got it, I was like, I'd rather be in a hotel room with you guys teaching on how to build a chat bot, okay, and learning how to use that chat bot and drive traffic to it that educates my potential customer, and they click either a button that says, I want to call back, or I'm ready to buy, or I need more information. Show me how to build a chat bot funnel. I'd rather be in a mass, and maybe that's just how I'm built, but I'd rather be in a room with people who are teaching marketing and strategy rather than having me up on stage when they say, well, how did you do it? Well, let me show you how I did. Let's get into a room and I'll draw it all out for you guys. I can't do that up here in front of all these people because they want me to talk about the product and about the company. And they've already told me what they want me to talk about, but that's not what got me here. And I wish companies would just be real and say, let's teach marketing and communicate. Joe Schroeder always taught me, he goes, you're going to do good because you've already been taught communication. So you want to learn marketing from me. I'm not going to be your marketing guy. Go study my postcards, go study my marketing that I do. That's how you'll learn how to market. But we need to teach people how to communicate properly. Because if we teach people how to communicate and sell, right, then the marketing really is the easy part. We can go all across the internet and find and reverse engineer how good marketers market. That's easy. But teaching people how to have a really good communication skill set, network marketing companies should be focusing on teaching people how to be great communicators. And if you did that, and they would never leave your company. I mean, if you taught them things that would help them grow their business, why would they leave? You wouldn't need it. You, like you're saying, you have collagen on one end, and then we're going to bring out this, and you can give them a spoon to put the collagen in, and that's supposed to excite everybody. Like, what in the hell that is the dumbest marketing I've ever seen. And yes, if they get enough people doing it, they're going to make volume, but we're at $500 million. Thinking if you taught them how to really market and communicate, you may be at $1 billion. So you guys are cutting it short here because you think it's working for you. And it is to a degree, but you can make it better. But we're not teaching people how to communicate properly. We're just sending them out there with a script and saying, here, act like this and do this, And yeah, I think, and network marketing to me, and one of the big positives of it, for me, it was a great time to where I learned how to become mentally stronger and how to do certain things that but that was taught to me by my upline. That was never taught to me by a network marketing company. We did have breakout set, and see, I'll tell you, this wellness company I was in back in the day, we would have breakout sessions, and it'd be like, this guy is going to talk about this, and this guy is going to talk about this. When we had those breakout sessions, I didn't give a damn about the stage stuff, and I wanted to go to these breakout sessions and learn how to be an entrepreneur and a marketer. To me, if I was a company owner, I would have events, but I would have specific events saying, hey, we're not doing recognition. This is not a recognition event. This is a straight up mastermind. This is a, you're going to school and learning how to be an entrepreneur and marketer. That's all this event is. And I'll promise you, that event would sell out faster than any recognition event. Because
I went to an event, Josh, and the recognition was great because it proved that people were doing well, but it was 2 hours long and we just all sat there.
Yeah.
Whereas people came up on stage, got their little certificate, and they just walked off stage. I'm like, how are they doing it?
Yeah.
The big marketing events with the breakout rooms are the best, because you're like, as a marketer, you get to go in the door that you really want. I'm most interested in this, and I love what this guy does online. Now I get to hear, and that's the great thing when you go to a training with a true marketer, because they're not up there embellishing. We're all sort of the same. It's not like, oh, look at me, I have a million lists and I'm cool and all that. They may say that in a sales pitch because they have to build that up because they're selling something, but in a room full of marketers, they just get right to the nuts and bolts. Like, this is what I'm doing. And that's what I want to see. I'm just like you. That's what I want to see and hear. The interesting thing with me with network marketing is people that, for me, I didn't mind talking to cold prospects, but I understood the numbers, right? And understood, and this is what drives me crazy when people want to come online. They want to change the way they're building and growing these types of businesses, but they're scared to death, or they're not willing to put out content. Well, I look at content differently. I look at content as, okay, if I'm offline, I talk to 100 people, 95 of them want nothing to do with me. They don't care. They're not my target market. I have no clue. I'm walking up to this individual. I have no clue if they have an interest or not. I'm just a stab in the dark, hoping that 5 actually may have an interest in something that, what I'm doing, and maybe 1 or 2 of those would want to partner with me, right? So I've got to go through all that. The difference with marketing and content is now I can get content out there. I can put myself out there. I can get my messaging out there. Now they don't have to opt into my stuff. They don't have to do all these things that people say that they have to do. All they have to do is show some interest on my content. They have to, if they like it or if they comment, they're telling me in a like or a comment that there's something in that content that resonated with them. That now gives me an opportunity to reach out and connect with them, not pitch them, but just reach out and say, hey, Josh, thanks for liking that post.
Oh, you've gone mute, Eric. You've gone mute again.
We lost your voice there, Eric. Hey,
Eric,
we lost your voice.
Can you hear us? No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There it is.
All right, I came back. So content now becomes that filter for me. And so I'm blown away with and talk a little bit about that, Josh, because what we run into is 2 things. Number one, people think they have to have their business plan A to Z. We just heard from you that when you started your agency, just like every other entrepreneur, they really have no idea. They don't know that you learn as you go, man. It's on the job training. And so people won't start take any action because they think they got to have that business plan. And that all goes to college and the way we're taught to have, you're keeping yourself busy, trying to put a roadmap together, but you're not ever stepping foot on the road. And then the other piece of that is the importance of, if you are going to be online, you're an ad agency of content and content consistently.
Okay, so, and both of those I can speak about because I've done it wrong and I've done it right. So yeah, you're right. On my ad agency, I had a sort of a blueprint because I'd worked for an advertising agency, but so I'm like, okay, so I'll just do what they did, but I'll do it online. But I won't have like hundreds of employees either. So I just started doing that. And I'm like, okay, this is how I've always done it on Facebook. Here's how I've done my Facebook ads. Here's my Google ads, and I can do that for you. And then I just started streamlining things, and I learned what worked, what didn't work. It's all testing too. You guys are marketers. It's all testing. And of course, Lee Collins, I worked with him. We had an agency. We partnered for a period of time, and I learned a whole lot about systems from him. He was in the military and he understood systemization. He even told me one time, he goes, you are so unmanageable. There's no way, you can't be managed. And I'm like, well, because I'm a sales and business development guy. I was never over promising ever, But it was like, when you grow, you have to grow at a smart pace or you're going to outgrow. You can't scale at times. So he really helped me with systems. But then here recently, like 2 years ago, I hired a girl out of Los Angeles. I think she lives in Florida now. And she builds chatbots, and I hired her. I paid her pretty good, and I'm like, I want to know your system. I want to know how, because I have my system, but I know by watching your system, it's better. And so I hired her, and she goes, here's my documents, here's my legal documents, here's how I do this, here's how I do that, here's how I do my project management, here's how. And so you got to be willing to learn from other people. Like, that's one thing I'll tell you, that's my strongest suit that I think I have, is that I am like, when people say I have no ego, they're lying. Like, I have an ego. Once I have it figured out, I'm pretty confident in it, and I'm not, you're not gonna probably get me off of it. And so there's a little bit ego there maybe, but I have no ego when it comes to, I am going to learn from people who are doing it better. That goes all the way back to my days in wrestling. Like, I would mimic and watch, and I was always one of those guys, like, you could tell me how to do it, and I had a hard time learning it. I was a visual learner. So, but if you showed me how to do it, you only had to show me one time, most of the time. And so I mimicked other great wrestlers, what they did, how they did it. I had to learn faster because I started early, but then there was a break where I didn't wrestle. My brother wrestled. And so I was starting a little bit later when I came back. I had to compress time, So I'm 43 right now. If I was starting in business, and you have these 20-year-olds, they have some time. Well, I would have to compress time right now if I was going to start all over. I would have to really put in a lot of hours. I'd have to work smarter. I would have to do, whatever. And so my suggestion is, it was hard. What I'm trying to say now is something I may not have been willing to do when I was younger. Like, go invest the money to learn from somebody else. Luckily for me, people took me under their wing, I was blessed by having certain people, and maybe it was because I was shown that I was willing to take what they told me and put it to work. And so people respect that a little bit more, but I had Bill Watts and Joe Schroeder. And I mean, I have a huge list of mentors that took me under their wing. And, Bill Bartman, who's very successful in Tulsa, Oklahoma, has passed away, but I remember he'd been a billionaire. He had been broke. He'd made millions. And he told me, he goes, I have done more mistakes than anybody else. That's why I'm successful, because I went out and actually have done it. And I was like, wow. So I learned a whole lot from him. I've just had so many great mentors I've learned a whole lot from, but it's funny that you say, back when that My Story marketing thing was going on, when everybody was doing that, it was so funny. Even us guys over that weren't doing it, I would watch it and go, and I was like, man, people can say what they want, but I'll be honest, I had the most fun. And people laugh when I tell people this when we're at marketing conferences or wherever. I guess it was the funnest because that was one of my first big breakthroughs. But when I learned how to take MySpace and YouTube and connect them to generate leads, it was the best SEO strategy I had ever had. But it was also, it made me bigger than I was. Like, people thought, dude, this guy's got a massive brand. It wasn't that I had a massive brand. It was just that we were out there first. We were the first to really do it. And man, you guys had it. I mean, it was so funny because we had Schroeder's group over here, and we had maybe some independents over here who were just trying to figure it out and kind of were. And then you had you guys that were using the My Story marketing, and I'm going, and then when I saw that, I'm like, okay, blogs are next, podcasts are next, all these other things are next. But when you added when I'm telling you, man, I had some videos that ranked so high because I had them on that MySpace, and we had them, we were using tricks to do things. But my lead flow coming from that was insane. And I learned more from marketing during that period of time than any college could ever teach me. Colleges are always going to be behind because you got guys like you guys out here who are into new technologies all the time. Well, by the time you guys have done that for 2 or 3 years, the college is like, well, if that really worked, here, let's put that in our curriculum. Dude, that's 2 years late. I mean, you'd have to have somebody out of college full time just to, that's hired just to watch people like you. I mean, that's what I would do if I had a college. I mean, you're going to watch entrepreneurs and these little tricks because there's some new things coming out every single day. And if we put that in our curriculum, we would actually have a product to sell, not $150,000 worth of student loan debt that they took comp 1, comp 2, they took algebra over again. I mean, I'm like, dude, and I don't mean to be on a rant on this, but if I took 12 years of school and took algebra and comp 1 and geometry and all these things, English, why in the hell do I have to do it? If the public school did such a good job and it's such a good product, why should I have to do 2 more years of it in college? If the high school did a good enough job, why should I have to do 2 more? I'm interested in business. I came into this school because I want to be an entrepreneur and a business person, learn how to do marketing. That was the degree I'm looking for. I want to go right into it because I'm going to tell you what, at 18 years old, I could do that online. I could go buy a course from Eric Green or, you guys. I could go buy a course from Frank Kern. I could go buy a course from learn how to do chatbot marketing. I don't have to do more comp 1, comp 2, or algebra or whatever. I don't have to do any of that. Now, if I'm going to go, obviously, if I'm going to go be a math, my major is going to be math, then yes, I'm going to have to learn a whole lot more math, statistics, the different types of accounting, your managerial and your, all of that. I understand that. But if I want to be an entrepreneur and a business person, I want to learn from real entrepreneurs who went through the cactus patch, like you guys. You've been stabbed in network marketing. My mentor used to say, "I've been through the cactus patch of network marketing." Like I've been through, whatever. And that's what I would want to. That's just me. That's how I would want to learn. My son, it's funny, he's training up in Colorado, but with my Instagram messenger is always lit up because he's sending me something about what Brad Lee said or what Grant Cardone said or what Gary Vaynerchuk said. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, he's learning from these guys at 17 years old. I didn't have Grant Cardone or whoever, Gary Vaynerchuk. I didn't have those guys. I didn't have that at my fingertips to learn, because it's funny. You get on TikTok is massive. Now I know there's a debate out there, obviously that it's tied to China or whatever the deal is. I don't know where it could be dangerous, but I will say this, the volume and the traffic that I see people getting from TikTok is something I have never seen before in my life. Like it's insane. And like, for example, say we're doing a podcast here and there's a clip that is just kick ass and you take that 20 seconds.
There's a few in here, Josh. There's a few.
Right. And you put it on TikTok, right? And people start listening to it and they go crazy about it. And I'm just telling you that I'm like, I don't know where that traffic's coming from, but it's coming from somewhere. And I'm seeing traffic going to people that I'm like, it's hard to deny that traffic, especially if it's like you guys who are intelligent. I know what you guys do. You take that traffic and siphon it to somewhere else, to your podcast or to your landing page or whatever. And I'm seeing so many things happening right now that I'm just blown away. Like I'm blown away by watching these TikTokers, these younger ones, and and just anybody that is a good marketer, a good communicator. I am blown away, and it's addictive. It's sticky. Like people will laugh. Like people sit on TikTok all day. Well, no, I would rather watch that or YouTube or Instagram than Fox News and CNN and all these these I don't know. I think I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody is in competition for the eyeballs, right? I don't want to hear anymore about politics. Like I'm tired of it. They're not making our lives any better. They're siphoning, our politicians are making so much money. It's insane. Okay. So then let's get it back down to the grassroots of, let's get these younger people who want to be entrepreneurs. Let's get their eyeballs on positive things, good things, teach them how to be entrepreneurs. And there'll always be enough employees out there. I feel like if you create a good enough idea, create a good enough culture, there will always be somebody who wants to work for that culture. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Starbucks, was the guy, the king coffee in America for a while, or has been. But then slowly there's this company, Dutch Bros, right? Slowly, quietly, they're taking market share day by day from Starbucks. Phenomenal customer service. Like used to be the culture. You went into Starbucks and all this ambiance and this whatever you felt. Now you go to Dutch Bros and they come out, they take your order while you're in line. You go up to the front and pick your order up. And these people are the best. They're like Chick-fil-A of customer service. And I'm like, man, I am not going back to Starbucks. And that's just me. Like, I'm not going back to them unless there is no Dutch Bros around. And in Tulsa, there's one down south, there's another one out southeast, and then now there's one getting closer to my house. I am single-handedly, as a business person, I'm watching them chip away at the market share, better customer service, better coffee. They're keeping the politics out of business, and people love it. They love it. And I'm like, okay, you guys better. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to take a chapter from them and say, let's just keep it better customer service, better product, keep the politics out and make people feel good and connect with them. Right. We've just gotten too political from the standpoint of our social media. They wanted to push that. And I think if you take that out and get back to the basics, you can grow a business and a brand. I'm going to tell you, I don't know, they have it over there where you guys are at, Paul.
We don't, but I know Dutch Brothers because it was on Undercover Boss, Undercover Boss USA.
Oh man, I'm telling you, man, this place is unbelievable. And I'm just watching them slowly chip away, get the market share, and they're not bragging about it. They're not doing, I don't, in fact, I haven't seen any advertising from them. To me, it's like the Chick-fil-A of coffee is really what it is. It's the only way.
We don't have Chick-fil-A, but apparently we're missing out. I've got to come to America.
Yeah, you would. I mean,
it's the next level, right? I mean, you don't go to a Chick-fil-A that's not. They got their system down pat, man.
They do.
Which is Nando's, do you? You guys don't have Nando's, do you?
Yeah, and they make.
Well, I was at their corporate office years ago. I used to sell, and we sold some equipment to their corporate office there. They're in North Carolina, is where they originated, and got to see the little house that the owner and his wife used to live in right across the street. It's still there. They have it protected. And where they started it out, it was a little 2-bedroom, little tiny little place, and grew that into Chick-fil-A. But real quick, I wanted to touch on Josh. We talk about now the game's changed, right? I mean, anybody can go out now. You can become an influencer. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be an 85-year-old woman. You could be that fresh 8-9-year-old kids out there making millions of dollars through social media. But one of the things you tapped on was, and one of the things we always talk about is people that are out there getting content. One of the things that they're really missing is building a list. They're not diverting this traffic.
See, I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, and we're guilty of that. We're all guilty of that, and that's one of the big things that that people are really missing. They're really missing and understanding. We talk about funded proposal, all these things that we've learned in the past. It's like, okay, you're building an audience. You are familiar with what your audience is. Now, what can you sell that audience? But how do you build a relationship? And a lot of people think, okay, well, yes, if they watch your content regularly, great. But if you have them in an email list and you're able to email these people on a regular basis, give them value, share stories, and build a relationship that way, you almost have to have that. And that's why I love like email marketers that have been around forever. We just bought Matt Barak, one of his courses. That guy's been around. He was a mentor to Russell Brunson and all these guys. You don't ever hear that guy's not on TikTok. You don't hear, he's not big. And he puts stuff out there now. He's strategic with it, but no, it's because he has lists in the millions that he's built over the last 25 years, and he can, he has that kind of influence, and and he can send an offer out and make $80,000 in a day, sending an offer out to his list. And I think that's where a lot of people are falling short now, is they're being told, come online and get content, and they're not learning the other side of the house.
They're not focused. They're not focused. So what you're saying, I've messed up. I haven't done the best either. Well, I have sporadically, okay, and that just comes to not being consistent. But like what we just talked about, if you're going to do TikTok, if you're going to do YouTube, if you're going to do Instagram, if you're going to do all these ads, I think people get confused on why the hell they're doing it. I think what has happened is people want to be superstars, and they you can either feed your ego or you can feed your bank account, right? And I think if we focus on, yes, put the content out and make it damn good, make it phenomenal. But at the end of the day, you have to have enough faith in yourself that these people want to hear more of you, and they want to experience you in more than one way. I remember Joe Schroeder taught that. He goes, they need to experience you. He said, that's why, we do a postcard. And then, and how do you get, well, how do they even get the postcard? Well, they heard me on a 1-800 back then, a 1-800 recorded line that was put on the internet. And how'd they find that? Well, from MySpace. So it was like, it was all linked together. They heard you they saw you on MySpace or watched your video. Then they said, well, I'm going to call that 1-800 number extension 365. And then it talks about, so you're interested in learning how to grow a business like I have. Yes. Well, give me your email, your address, whatever. And then I'll send you a postcard. And on the postcard, they get that in the mail, which nobody gives mail anymore. I mean, as much. And then it has a link on the postcard, and they click the link, they buy online or whatever. And so they're experiencing you in 15 different ways. So if these young kids would keep doing what they're doing, but give it a different feel, like, okay, they saw you on and that's where like Jake Paul and these guys are so good, right? You see him on Instagram, you see him on YouTube, you see him on TikTok, you see him on Facebook. They're geniuses in that they have to experience my content in more than one way, and that's where Gary Vaynerchuk was brilliant. He said, either you can write good blog posts, you can do good on audio, or you can do good on video. Some people can do all three. But yeah, I think you have to have like Rush Limbaugh was brilliant at it. And Glenn Beck is, kooky as he may seem sometimes, is extremely, extremely good at it. I've always said, and I may be going out on a limb on this one, but I would bet you, I mean, I get emails from Donald Trump's campaign and all the time. I would bet you that guy has got to be either as close to worth, he may be worth more in data, email addresses, phone numbers, and all this data that he got from Facebook and whatever, Twitter, and what he collected and what he has. He may be worth more in that than he is in real estate. But if he's not, it's close, because data to me is worth more than anything right now. And we know that, so if these kids and people our age, and even people in their 70s and 80s would ever get obsessed with, how do I collect the data? Not just lists, like email lists, but how do I get obsessed with getting the data? Because once I have that data, I can text them, I can email them, I can call them, I can send a postcard out to them. I can, you almost have to study that. I'll say this, some of the best marketing comes from political campaigns. So if you can reverse engineer that and then use it towards your affiliate offer or your podcast or your whatever, your podcast is just a pillar. So you have your funnel, and your podcast is a pillar of marketing, TikTok's a pillar of marketing, YouTube's a pillar of marketing, Facebook's a pillar of marketing, and it's all driving down into that funnel where you're going to give free away. And then in that free, you're going to sell something less expensive.
Yeah.
And then you're going to work your way all the way down. And then eventually inside that funnel, you're going to have a residual and probably a big ticket down there somewhere. So as long as, it's staying focused. It is
Well, and I think the biggest issue in this influencer space right now is, talking to my son's friend who wants to be an influencer and does great content. I could see him transitioning, and in his mind, he's like, oh, well, once I become this big influencer, then now I'm getting, I'm monetizing that, YouTube's paying me and all this. Because I said, yeah, you're building the YouTube's audience. Here's the problem. It's so different than network marketing. You're at the mercy of these social platforms that you're building this influence with. Those guys could change the game anytime they want. They can cancel your accounts anytime you want. So why on earth wouldn't you? And you're kind of this starving influencer, kind of trying to work your way up the ladder to where you can monetize and now rev share with these social media platforms. It's like, why not, while you're doing that, climbing that, first of all, you need to be building that audience and list, because if for whatever reason, things blow up, they delete your account later, something happens, you still have that audience that you can continue to market to. But as you're going up this ladder, these people are buying training products, they're buying all these things already, right? They're consuming, they're following you, you know. I remember, she won't listen to this, an ex-sister-in-law, and she used to do Instagram makeup things, and my brother-in-law used to spend all this money. I was just blown away. Like, he'd buy all this makeup every month, and then he would edit her videos and do all this stuff. And I was like, I was like, this is, and it was really good. And she's just like, she's like, well, I said, why aren't you, these people are asking questions, they're engaging on your content, why aren't you selling them this makeup? Well, it will impede on the brand. I'm like, impede on what? What are you talking about? You're convincing them that this is the best makeup that they need to have. You're showing them how to apply it and do all this stuff. And now they're going to go down the street and buy it from the other guy. So you're doing all this work and you're sending them down the street to buy, because in your mind, you think,
Yep.
I don't need to be selling them. While my poor ex-brother-in-law's over here, forking all this cash out, and this could be profitable. And it
Yeah,
just blows my mind. And that's what people are doing, Josh.
well, that's exactly right. And like, I don't know what his name was or is, but my kids were like, have you seen this guy on Instagram or on YouTube, whatever? I'm like, no, I haven't seen him. Is he that big? Oh yeah, go watch him. So I'm watching him. And then I said, well, how does he make his money? He goes, well, he has his own marketing academy. He teaches marketing and how he does all this. I'm like, well, first of all, then probably you ought to go buy it. And second of all, why aren't you starting yours? I mean, this guy's got his own marketing academy. That's how he's making his money. Oh yeah, you don't need to go to college. You learn marketing from him. I'm like, what the hell have I been saying for the last 10 years? Like, that's what I've been saying. Like, and so you're right. You're 100% right that these kids are already better. They've already experienced better marketing than we have ever experienced. They know marketing probably better than us, because they live in they live in this constant feed of marketing to them, whether it be jokes, memes, whatever, but these guys, I know a handful of guys that are young that have started their own little marketing academies and whatever else. I know a guy right now that he does this base jumping, like, they'll jump off bridges and stuff, and he has great video content. And he was a wrestler. And, we talk every once in a while, and I'm like, so what else are you doing to monetize it? And he's getting brands to monetize him, or to pay him to do that. Because he's like, he was with one of those, he was in Miami with some big influencers. So he's getting into some big influencers who love him. But he's also like, you know what? I'm free from May till August. And he has his Calendly set up, and he goes, I'm going to be in these states, and let's do, and he's an NCAA wrestler. So he's like, I'm going to do a clinic, and we're going to do camps at these places. And so like, if he, like, for example, if he wanted to have a business, create an LLC, his base jumping, whatever, he travels here, he's going to probably deduct that. He does a camp. He's going to make money off the camp. The kids love him because he's a superstar on Instagram and a good looking guy. They're all taking pictures with him, sharing it on Instagram that I'm with this guy. And he's going around the world base jumping and having a good time. Like, the guy's got the lifestyle of a king. Like, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, he's making money on wrestling camps. Everybody knows him. And then he gets to go to, well, you know what? Maybe I should start maybe since we've been in Oklahoma this week, in 2 weeks, we're going to Hilo, Hawaii, and we're going to do a camp there. I mean, who wouldn't want to do a camp in Hawaii, right? Like, so what I'm saying is he's got to figure it out. But his monetization methods could probably be a lot better. Like, he should have a list that, okay, next year we're going to do these camps too. And if you want information on these camps, I will email you guys, but get on my list. If you want to get, and then, again, like, I'll see guys like Gary Vaynerchuk and some of these people, they'll take a compilate, they'll do like, well, the last week, this is what I did. And they'll take their top Instagram post and their top whatever post and compile it, put it into an email, make it a newsletter out of it. And so they're getting experience in more than just one way.
Well, and a lot of these guys don't understand. Like at that time, at that point, I'm thinking like, okay, who can I do deals with? In other words, okay,
Yeah.
I have this great lifestyle. I'm happy. I'm good with what I'm doing. I don't want to learn e-commerce or sell merchandise or any of this, but but I got this young kid over here that's super successful with e-commerce. He knows who I am. He follows me. Now I'm going to strike a deal with this guy. Okay, you're going to build this out. Go find me products that, I can sell wrestling shoes. I can sell all sorts of stuff. Now I'm doing a deal with this kid and he's managing my entire e-com platform. He's building it. He's handling everything. He's taking my
Yep.
content. He's putting it out there and I'm giving him a cut. And that's where I think us in the old school, that's how we thought. We were always looking for those angles. And I think a lot of these young guys, they're even though they're being exposed, it's like, I don't know if it's because they're so worried about, is someone going to infringe on my influence or tap into some of my traffic? But it's like, dude, you're missing the boat, man. You got
You get more traffic. You get more traffic if you create deals like what you're saying. They shouldn't
Yeah.
worry about that. They shouldn't. They should be. What these young kids should do is go learn what Frank Kern did with mass and what did he call that? Mass control.
Mass control. Yeah.
Mass control. If he would go, if these kids would learn how to do that, oh my gosh, dude, they would make what we all did in the past. They'd make it look like, I mean, because I didn't have what they have, like millions of followers. They have eyeballs galore. And if they would do mass control with each other and quit worrying about, is this person going to get my list? You probably don't even have a list. I mean, is this person going to get this or this person going to get that? And what you're saying is right. Just because you have 1 million followers on Instagram, that is not your list. That is Instagram's list. And until you get them into your AWeber or until you get them into your active campaign or your whatever, they're not yours, man. And again, if you say something wrong politically, dude, you're done on Instagram.
Gone. Just
That 1 million list, they keep, I mean, I'm sure they're data mining it, Instagram. And I mean, I'm sure they're figuring out how to keep it in some way, shape, or form, but it's like, yeah, I mean, these young, and they may be like, I'm just not seeing it. They may be doing some what we're talking about, but I just don't see it as much. But boy, they could really, really crush it. And those are the type of people right there. I will say this: those are the type of people that I will see. They'll sell an affiliate product or they'll sell whatever. I don't see them in network marketing. I don't see those guys, or they're sure not touting. They're not saying, "Hey, look at this collagen in this spoon I've got," or they're not saying, "Look at this new collagen over here, or this new collagen over there," or whatever. I am not seeing that with the guys that I'm watching, that my kids send me. Like, look at this guy's got 2 million followers, and this guy does this, and they all have pretty decent content, or they wouldn't have that many followers. I don't see any of them. I mean, I don't see any of them going out and saying, "Hey, I'm with XYZ MLM. You ought to jump in with me."
Well, I kind of look at it like the whole rock star thing. You have the guys that don't understand business deals. We just went out and saw Elvis and all that, and there's some interesting stuff in that movie with his manager. But it's like they're so engulfed and in love with the fame that they have and the influence that these big networks, these big social media platforms know it. And they're taking advantage, and these guys have no clue. And at some point, when all that influence goes, they live these horrible, terrible lives. Many of them, like that rock star, they don't live past what, 25, 30. They're gone. There's drugs, alcohol, because they've got to have that. They're so tapped into that. And that influence is going to go away. That shine's going to go away. There's going to be someone new that comes in and captures that audience's heart and takes them. And it's like, man, you've walked away with absolutely nothing without building a list. That's one of the things Paul and I are really focused on right now, is just trying to get people to understand.
Right, what we've missed over the last few years, because there was a time when AWeber was closing people down. I mean, I know 3 or 4 markets. Yeah. AWeber just like, oh, change your terms and conditions. Well, what did you change? It's in the small print somewhere if you can find it, but we're not telling you. Gone. So I kind of then, I was building a list and I kind of pulled away. I've got to get back on it.
Who have you guys, I mean, if you don't mind saying it, who would you use as a different vendor versus Aweber? I have Aweber, but I've looked at Active Campaign and some other ones too. I never would even have this conversation a few years ago, but now
Yeah.
that people are changing their terms and conditions and now canceling whatever, you better have something in your hip pocket.
We use, Paul brought this, but we use a service called system.io. And the
Mhm.
reason is it's sort of a spinoff from ClickFunnels, but it's an
They
all-in-one.
Let's be honest, they copy ClickFunnels. It's like
Pretty
amazing.
much.
It's free, Josh. It's free.
Yeah, and so what we can do is we can get someone on that platform for free. And how many members is that for free, Paul? Is that
They can have,
2,000?
they can have 3 funnels and 2,000 contacts for free. And then if
So-
you want to
so-
go more, it's like $27 a month compared to $99 a month with ClickFunnels. They've really got that figured out. It's
So the big light bulb we're trying to get across to people, you get them into a system.io for free, and then we get them to start thinking about, okay, who's my target audience? What kind of offer can I offer up that they would give me an email for? And now we've got them building their own funnel and actually collecting their first, email lead all within that same system. And now the wheels start to turn and they start to wait. Okay, you have to always think like a marketer. Yeah, you can't. Like you said, you have to build backwards. You have to think, what's my big plan here, and how do I build backwards from that? And then you can always see when the light bulb goes off.
You've gone again, Eric. You've gone quiet. So until you get your voice back, what I will say, Josh, is I've got Aweber still, and I have a list on Aweber. We're also building a listing system, and I'm trying to cover my ass, like you said. I'm trying to keep something in my back pocket that if one goes,
Yeah.
And you're back, Eric. Hey guys, look,
That's fine. Yeah, we got to
should
go.
be-
I know.
I should be on another call in about 4 or 5 minutes. So
Yeah, I got one
Um,
too.
so-
I appreciate you guys having me on, and most of my podcasts lately, they're about entrepreneurship and whatever. But I would leave people with, if no matter where you're at, I think you should start some sort of a marketing business. We're all marketers. I mean, when Gary Vaynerchuk said that, I always thought that, but when he said that, I was like, that he's saying exactly what I was thinking. Like, we're all marketers and we all have an ability to sell or market something and make an extra income. I mean, I would do it. Like, I would go learn chatbot funnels. I think it's going to be huge for a long time, and not just because of the chatbot technology. There's bigger technologies out there than chatbots, but it teaches you how to diagram and blueprint, build it out. Until you built something out, you just never know. I don't think you're not in business. I mean, you got to build it out yourself a little bit and architect it. Even if you're not architectural minded, I'm really not, to be honest. My dad was, but when you build it all out and you see people go and flow through your funnel and they end up wanting to buy something or whatever, it's fun. And I wish all people would become marketers and at least something. I've had friends that are not marketing minded people that market something, but anyways, we got a probably 10 podcast about whatever, but it's fun talking to you guys because
we'll get you on again.
I watch
I
you
think
guys.
we'll get you on again.
Yeah,
But
I watch you guys do some things. It's fun.
We need a couple of things. First of all, what's your MySpace page? You talked about
I don't have
MySpace, so that sounds awesome.
I used to have MySpace. I don't have it anymore. Yeah. Well, so if you're looking at my other pages, Facebook, I think my main page, my one is official Josh Peak. And then that's my, where I'm going to start putting more content there for my business stuff. And then Twitter is Josh Peak. And then I'm rebuilding my site right now. It's not up. I'm actually in the middle of rebuilding it because we're going to make it more of a podcast. So I'm modeling some other things, but it's joshpeak.com, but it's not up right now. So you're going to see an empty site. There is something on the back end of it, but then obviously on my podcast, you can find those on Spotify and iTunes. Just type in the Josh Peak Show. And I use Libsyn on that. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys do too, but that's where it kind of just syndicates all over.
Use what? Sorry?
I use Libsyn for my podcast.
I'm on Buzzsprout. I don't know if that goes to.
No, it's good. Buzzsprout's really good. Yeah.
Phew,
So anyway,
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no, it's real good. But anyways, I know you guys got to run. I do too. I appreciate your time though and having me with you guys.
Josh,
You're
that's
always
all.
great, Josh.
I'll stop the recording there. Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening. Click the show notes below, and I'll put all the links to Josh's stuff and a couple of the things we talked about. I'll try and get his MySpace page out of him, and we'll pretend
Yeah.
or whatever it was. Okay.
Bye,
All
guys.
right, guys. Thank you.